one of our types of animals that we have here. Now what I brought with me are called Damara mole rats. I'll show you what they look like. Alright, now this is a Damara mole rat. Raise your hand if you've seen any of this type of mole rat while you were looking around in here. You probably have, because our exhibit is right over there, and I can see a few of them moving around. Well, the ones that I brought out are from a colony that we keep off exhibit because we actually have two groups of these mole rats living here at the zoo. Now, Damara mole rats are found in Africa, and they live underground just like all other mole rats do. Now, we actually have two kinds of mole rats here in Natural Encounters. We have the furry ones, which are called Damara mole rats, and we also have hairless mole rats, which are called naked mole rats. And even though the naked mole rats look like they're babies, they're all adults, so they're actually a completely separate animal from these. Now, mole rats live underground, and they look kind of like mice, right? You guys think these look like mice? Because they're actually related to them. Now, they live underground in tunnels and in chambers that they build, or rooms. And they have a special way of digging those tunnels that you won't be able to see if you're sitting down, but if you want to come up a little bit closer, I'll be able to show you how they dig. Now, we can't touch them. They don't like being handled, but does someone want to come up close and look at this one really up close? All right. Well, don't touch them, but look at where his teeth grow from. Do you see anything weird about that?
From his nose.
Right, exactly. Their teeth grow from the outside of their mouth. So from right under their nose and right under their chin is where their teeth grow from. Now that's because they dig tunnels through dirt and through rock with their teeth. If you guys could take one step back, that will be good. Thank you. So they dig using their teeth. Why do you think then that they need to have their teeth outside of their mouth instead of inside? Exactly right. Nobody wants to have dirt in their mouth, so these guys are able to dig with their teeth. But since their teeth are outside of the mouth, they don't have to swallow any of that dirt. Now they can dig through a lot more than just dirt. They dig through rocks, and they can dig through cement, and they can dig through almost anything, because Damara mole rats have the strongest jaws of any animal in the world for their size. So if these were the size of a lion, they have stronger jaws than a lion if they were that big. Mole rats live in a group called a colony underground, and they all work together so that they can survive, because can you imagine how hard it would be to find food if you lived underground? It'd be pretty hard. And these like to eat roots and things similar to potatoes and carrots and things like that. So in their colony, they have a queen, just like you have a queen bee or a queen ant. They have a queen, and she's the one that has babies. And the rest of the mole rats are either workers or soldiers, and their names tell you what their job are. Now the workers are pretty small. Now I'm not sure if this one's going to be a worker or a soldier yet because he's not old enough. This is a young mole rat. But the workers are smaller, and they're responsible for digging tunnels, and they find food, and they keep their tunnels safe or clean. And there are also some larger ones that are soldiers, and the soldiers protect the colony. What do you think they might have to protect the colony against if it lives underground? Yeah, other animals, predators. Now one of the main predators for mole rats are snakes, because they're the right shape to fit underground. So these soldiers are big enough, and they can protect the colony. Now I have an adult mole rat here. This one's name is Wyatt. Now, it's hard for me to hold up because, as someone was talking about earlier, they can run backwards as fast as they can run forwards, and their skin is very, very loose. Because sometimes in the wild, their tunnels are not wide enough to turn around in. So this is Wyatt. Now, they don't have the same types of nerves in their body that we do, so you can't really feel me holding them like this. They don't have the same types of nerves in their skin. So this is Wyatt, and he's actually the dad in our colony. This is a very small colony. We have 6 in this colony, but we have 27 in our other larger colony. And this is still a young mole rat. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to be a worker or a soldier yet. But this is one that's a few months old. And then we have our very young youngest one right here. And this guy's a couple of months old. Now you can't pet him yet because they're not used to being touched by people. So right now we're getting them used to having a couple of people being able to touch them, and that's me and some of the other keepers here. And maybe in a few months, other people, like guests at the zoo, like you guys, would be able to touch them. Do you have any questions so far?
What about their eyes? What do you see? What kind of eyes do they have?
I'll show you their eyes. Now, Wyatt's pretty feisty. You have to be really careful with his teeth. Now, something else about their teeth, they can move them up and down like we can, but they can also move their teeth side to side like a pair of chopsticks. So that's pretty cool. Now, they do a lot of chewing with their teeth, and even though they have eyes, their eyes are really small, and they can see shadows underground, but they can't see very well. They communicate mainly by sound. They can make a lot of different sounds. They actually have 13 different sounds that they can make, and also by smell. It's really important for all of the mole rats that live in a colony to smell like each other. Part of the reason that we're able to pick them up is because the keepers, like myself, handle our mole rats, and so our smell, the human smell, gets mixed in with their colony. Guys have any more questions? Can't remember what I've already talked about and what I haven't. Like I said, these are rodents and they're found in Africa. There are actually several kinds of mole rats found in the wild. And here at the zoo we have these Damara mole rats. And then we have naked mole rats too. This one's not very old. He's a few months old. This is one that's pretty young. When Damara mole rats are born, they actually have fur and teeth. And within 2 or 3 days of being born, they can already eat solid food, which are things that are really hard, like carrots and other solid things like that. They also do a lot of chewing. They have to chew all the time because their teeth never stop growing. So this is Wyatt. He is our adult male. And he's also the dad in this group. And here's one that's a few months old, and then this one's only about a month old. Okay, well, I have time for a few questions.
Why are they so tame? With teeth like that, it looks like they could take your finger right off.
They actually could, like I said earlier, they have the strongest jaws of any animal relative to their size. However, the reason that we can handle them is because we start handling our mole rats when they're very young, and so our human scent gets mixed in with their colony and the smell of all the other mole rats, and so they think it's kind of normal. Now, some of them tolerate being handled a lot better than others. Like Wyatt here, because he is a dad in our colony, he's very protective, so it's harder to hold him. But it's just because we've worked really hard to get our scents integrated. Alright, well, I'll be here for a couple more minutes to answer questions, but I am going to go off microphone right now.